On the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pott.
All right. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? It's Josh Poet. Sorry for the delays in getting things going this morning here, and I've made a road trip. I'm out in Roswell, New Mexico at the moment. We have the Sci-Fi Cosmic-Con convention here this weekend, and UFOetry is here. We are performing, so that is the purpose for being out here. Anyway, I've been having all kind of technical problems. Some things I can show you, some things I can't. Unfortunately, one of these things I don't think I'm going to be able to get to you is the space weather. Let me see here. Let me see. I don't know if you can see this here. Alright, anyway, let me just get to it. The space weather today at our cosmic weather, current condition, solar wind is blowing at 428.6 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is at a 2, expected to be no higher than a 2 within the next 24 hours. Not much in the way of corona holes or anything that's affecting us. And if we go down here, we looked at, we have only a 1% chance of an M-class flare and an X-class flare, very similar as well. And geomagnetic storm activity pretty much non-existent. Let's see what else we have here. Alright, departure of active sunspot 1504 has left the Earth-facing side of the sun quiet and nearly blank. Only one small emerging sunspot interrupts the empty expanse photograph this morning. Okay, so there we go. Astrologically, we are dealing with the sun sign of Cancer. So Cancer is a water sign. The unconscious, or the moon phase today, is Leo. Leo, the lion. Leo's a fire sign. So we got fire underneath. Up on top, we've got unconscious mind, we've got water. So think about fire and water. Okay, since we've got the conscious mind is the water, think of like a pot of water on the stove, and you've got the fire underneath, and it can create something that you could cook with, it can boil it, it can really evaporate the water, or the water could overflow and put the fire out. So those are ways they can work together or against each other. Just depends on the way you make use of those energies. The moon is on the way up from no moon to a new moon to a full moon. It's 9% full. This is the waxing phase. And on the Mayan oracle, let's see right here, we have the 12 day. It's a red crystal serpent, 12 serpent guided by the earth. You can see up here. And the phrase for today is, I dedicate in order to survive. Universalizing instinct. I seal the store of life force with the crystal tone of cooperation. I am guided by the power of navigation. And on the Gregorian calendar, it is Friday, June 22nd, 2012. Alright, so there you have it. That's our cosmic weather for today. I am going to jump over to the UFO news next. Stay tuned.
This is the UFO news
Good evening,
with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. This is the UFO news for today. Let's see what we have. I have 5 stories. First story comes to us from ABC News over Highland, Utah. This was amazing. Captures some UFOs at night in Utah, shooting objects from its sides. The UFOs were shooting out drones or probes to monitor human activity. That's what they thought. There's a video here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to play it for you right at the moment, but the link is available. Next we have UFV, UFO activity over the woods of Bawsey, Tuesday the 19th. Eyewitness states updated video footage caught last night in the woods over Bawsey, Kings, UK, the 19th of June. As you will see, I missed a lot of the UFO crash using my naked eyes. There was actually more caught on film. Alright, here's what we have here. Let me see if I can get myself out of the way so you can see this. Alright. No, that's not it. It's my mouse. Alright, let's see what we got here. Alright, I'm gonna just fast forward it here towards the end. You could see the object is being followed. They're just two dim lights, hard to see. Once you pull it up in your computers and enlarge the screen, you'll be able to see it a lot better. Okay, you know, you're looking out in this area here, the right hand side. There you go, right in the middle now, making its way from the middle to the right. Actually, it's going across to the left. Alright, next sighting comes to us. This is a triangle caught over, I believe, Russia. Yep. Alright. Let's see what we have here. Alright, let me play this for you. Alright, you got the light right here. You see that? It's right here, just kind of sitting there, big bright orange colored light, and then as it zooms in, you'll see that there's more than just one. Let me fast forward there. Right, you start to see as it gets closer. We've got a series of lights. 1, 2, 3, 4 lights to be exact, around some sort of a craft. Alright, the link's available for you to check out. And what we have here is UFO activity over Redford, Michigan. This was an interesting one. This was multiple sightings that you're going to see. That definitely this one right here, you see right in the middle. And then there appears to be something else over here. And little one down there. And this one, as it moves, you could see the shape kind of changes. So it's definitely a triangular object over Michigan. Alright, Redford, Michigan. And the very last one here, this is an update on the details of the Baltic Sea anomaly. Alright, given the high amount of intense interest in the Baltic Sea anomaly, Peter Lindberg hosted an impromptu question and answer session on OceanX's Facebook page a short time ago. There's no doubt there's still mystery yet to be solved. Every time we get answers, it raises more questions that cannot be answered. What is being called a UFO by a good deal of the mainstream media and most internet sites is actually a mushroom-shaped object. This is a fairly accurate description because the object sits on the stalk that is about 24 feet high, coming off the seabed. A dome or mushroom shape is anything from 3 to 12 feet wider than the actual stalk. So if you envision an enormous mushroom, you would be as close to accurate as you can envision. And these are some things that he believes and does not believe about this. He does not believe the circle is the wreckage of a flying craft from World War II. He does not believe the circle is a wreckage of any known kind of floating vessel. He does not believe the circle is a construction made by someone after the Ice Age. He does believe the surface of the circle is made of mineral. He believes the surface looks like concrete, but does not believe it's made of concrete. He does believe that the very straight lines and angular formations on the sides that they can see on the side sonar images from last year really exists. The odd thing is he thought before the expedition that when they could get close to these shapes, maybe should appear not being straight. He does believe he might have been volcanic activity in the area, and he does believe the circle rests on top of what looks like a pillar of rock. So that is what is being discovered right now. That's the latest on that. Now I'm going to jump away to a song here, see if this works good, and then I'll be back. Stay tuned.
Against this nation, would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People shouldn't be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing, but they're losing from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
All right, I am back. So, let's see what we got here. Next story up. Actually, this is a story about this is from Alana at RT. Let me go ahead and play this for you. This is about the CIA being involved in Syria, and it shows the mainstream media and what they were covering. So instead of covering the importance of that event, you're going to hear yourself what they were actually doing. Here we go.
All right, so there is a bunch of stuff going on today. A few Supreme Court decisions handed down, some like healthcare and immigration we're still waiting for, but who cares if they're not out yet? We will still talk about it for hours. That, of course, and of course, the presidential showdown.
Mitt Romney just 1 hour away from his biggest campaign appearance yet in front of a Latino audience.
U.S. Supreme Court, at any time, justices could hand down some of the most important decisions in years, looming for all Americans, President Obama's health care law.
States are in a deep hole. Just how deep? A whopping $1 trillion, according to a new study.
President Obama has asserted the first executive privilege of his administration, setting off a fight with congressional Republicans who are claiming election year overreach.
Contempt of Congress recommended against the Attorney General as President Obama now steps in.
The future of the health care law and Arizona's controversial immigration law both hang in the balance right now.
Closing arguments today in the Jerry Sandusky child sex abuse case.
Brand new audio and videotapes released overnight. George Zimmerman, in his own words,
the economy is headed in the wrong direction.
Just how much money are the campaigns spending?
Jerry Sandusky trial, the judge has dropped 3 counts against him.
The Supreme Court decision on Arizona's anti-immigration policy could come through as early as next week.
387,000 Americans filing for first-time jobless benefits.
Another election year showdown between Republicans and President Obama is boiling over.
Now, there's a completely different story out there today that we just have to highlight. One that the mainstream media has, for the most part, ignored. I saw Fox News talking about it for a minute or two today, but nobody else. And let's just say that it's something that we kind of predicted or assumed was going on based on precedent. See, it was just the other day that we were discussing the Syria situation on this program, and the calls from people like John McCain to arm the Syrian rebels. Now, part of his justification was that currently the U.S. is just sitting back and doing absolutely nothing, which our guest Jack Rice discussed with us as being far from true.
Turkey is the place that really crosses this area in ways that others don't. And they would absolutely not be doing this without the absolute support of the United States here. The U.S. doesn't want to clearly step in. The Europeans don't particularly want to step in, but it seems clear that we're providing logistical support, probably some intelligence support. We certainly don't appear to have any soldiers on the ground, but from an intelligence perspective, I suspect that there's probably others in the region who are providing some of that other support. And even there's questions of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, others providing actual military support in terms of weaponry. That's not clear out there, but my guess is that we're not simply sitting back and simply saying, well, you know, fight it out.
And so what do you know? Today there's a new report out in the New York Times coming from unnamed American officials and Arab intelligence officers that says the CIA is on the ground in Turkey, helping allies to decide which Syrian opposition fighters across the border will receive arms to fight the Syrian government. Now, those weapons include automatic rifles, rocket-propelled grenades, ammunition, and some anti-tank weapons. And while it's being paid for by Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, according to the report, we still have a hand in it. This despite the fact that there are reports coming out every day, as usual in these situations, about how we don't know who exactly all of the rebels are. And while internationally, nobody wants to see innocent people being killed, there are still a lot of questions to be answered as to whether intervention and what kind of intervention would be right or wrong, what the consequences of that may be. And personally, I don't care who's doing it. I never believe that spreading more weapons around the world is what's going to ensure peace. And the thing is, we have history to teach us these lessons. The U.S. in particular has seen time and time again how arming one group, choosing a side, can backfire. The weapons we sold or transactions that we helped facilitate are then used against us. Take perhaps one of the most obvious and depressing examples that we see the effects of every day in our war in Afghanistan. Started with things like Operation Cyclone, where the CIA was arming, training the Afghan Mujahideen during the Soviet war in Afghanistan. And you have Mujahideen leaders like Gulbuddin Hekmatyar, later who turned on the U.S. and fought against coalition forces. Then, of course, there are also people like General Abdul Rashid Dostum, a notorious Afghan warlord. He fought the Soviet-backed Democratic Republic of Afghanistan, then he switched sides to fight for the Mujahideen, and a lot of people say that his switch led to the undoing of the DRA, and then he suddenly decided to fight with the Northern Alliance in 2001, and now he's the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the Afghan National Army. You know, the same Afghan National Army that the U.S. supplies weapons to, so we clearly don't discriminate in who our partners are. Let's just hope that he doesn't have another change of heart. And of course, there's the fact that the U.S. armed Saddam Hussein in the fight against Iran, and I think we all know how those weapons came in mighty handy later. Then more recently, there's speculation that the U.S. was arming rebels in Libya. Now, the government says that we didn't. John McCain says that we did, but it wouldn't be that much of a stretch, as NATO ally France did supply the rebels there. Now, it's over a year since the revolt started, and the future for that region is still very much up in the air. So while with Syria, if the reports are true, and the weapons may not be ours, is facilitating weapons deals really that much better? Now, I think these are the big questions that need to be asked all the time. When the media lets pundits and politicians go on the air warmonger, a few historical examples wouldn't hurt to throw in as a counter to some of those statements. I would say that that's responsible journalism, to at least bring the issue up rather than let everybody trudge forward mindlessly based on emotions. But apparently, that would be asking too much, because that's what the mainstream media chooses to miss.
All right. So with all the important news going on in the world, isn't it crazy that that's all the mainstream can report, that kind of nonsense? But they do it all the time. Not once do you ever hear them talk about the fact that Obama is in court, or not him personally, but that he is being sued, and about his eligibility. They don't dare touch that subject, even though they claim to be on different sides of the fence. Crazy. All right, moving right along news-wise. Let's see here if I can make an adjustment here. There we go. How about that? I can just some of this news here. Maybe even a little bit more. Oh, how about that? Look at that, huh? Okay. At least you can kind of get an idea of what I'm reading here. All right, Walmart's latest initiative could change America farms forever. Reuters, Michael Hertzer reports that Walmart has its sight set on a new efficiency, sponsoring its own wheat fields. The aim is simple: to use Walmart's commercial muscle to get its great value-branded flour and wheat products from field to shelf more efficiently, using less carbon. The company's involvement could be far-reaching consequences, lowering costs and improving yields as wheat supplies compete for the Bentonville behemoth's business. Tim Robinson, the company's senior buyer of baking commodities, told Hertzer the company is likely to promote precision farming. Techniques uses satellite-guided planting to improve yields, and no-till methods, what proponents say reduce soil erosion and maintain land quality. So, what do you think about that? What do you think about, very interesting. Let's see what we can do here, moving along. Alright, next story up here. This comes from the Economic Collapse blog.com. Will Toledo, Ohio be the first major American city to be owned by the China? Well, there are two ways to conquer and enslave a nation. One by using the sword, the other by using debt. Fortunately, America is not in danger of being conquered by the sword right now, but America is being conquered by debt. The borrower is the servant of the lender, and today we owe China more than $1 trillion. By running a gigantic trade deficit with us, China has been able to become incredibly wealthy. We have begged them to lend us back some of the money that we have sent them, and this has made them even wealthier. Now China is gobbling up U.S. real estate and U.S. assets at an astounding pace. In fact, some cities are in danger of becoming completely dominated by Chinese ownership. One of these cities is Toledo, Ohio. In many Rust Belt areas, real estate can be had for a song, and the Chinese are taking full advantage of this. America is once the wealthiest nation on earth, but now we are drowning in debt and are being sold off in chunks to the highest bidder. Is this the legacy of what we're going to leave to our future generations? Kind of interesting, little by little, but hey, look at this man. This man is doing it. Obama. This is definitely an abomination. Obama asserts executive privilege to hide involvement in Fast and Furious. Really? You mean the guy who's the big chicken found another way to hide some more? That's all that guy does, hides. He's not a leader, folks. Do you think he's a leader? Who thinks Obama's a leader? Raise your hand. He's not a leader. Even if you were in school, would you pick him to lead? He doesn't have any leadership qualities. He can go out there and talk. He's very charismatic, but when it comes to leading, he's not a leader. All right. In a vain effort to cover his tracks and protect his cohorts, President Barack Obama is claiming executive privilege regarding Fast and Furious documents that exposed their operation to smuggle weapons into Mexico by way of U.S. agents were handed off directly to Mexican drug cartels. The House Oversight Committee, HOC, headed by Chair Darrell Issa, is flat out demanding the classified undisclosed documents that show the Department of Justice and Attorney Eric Holder were directly involved. Just as the Oversight Committee votes on holding Holder in contempt or not, Obama claims a thin-veiled retreat, perhaps to mitigate his exposed connection to the DOJ's involvement in the ruined operations. All right, way to stand up for the people around you, Obama. Way to stand up. Man of integrity right there. Intel Hub. New Hampshire passes first statewide Florida warning. This is good because we know dangers of fluoride. I love to see a flat-out ban if they're being added to the public water, but nonetheless, this is a step in the right direction. On the back of the most cheap Bull's toothpaste already exists a warning label. Somehow the same rules do not apply when the government indiscriminately doses people. If you are an audiodidact like myself, you probably already know a long list of dangers associated with fluoride. If you do not yet know of the aforementioned list, the Fluoride Action Network has many great resources. Basically, here's what's going to go on with this bill. Beginning August 4th, 2012, New Hampshire will require notification that a 6-month-old should not be routinely fed infant formula mixed with fluoridated water to avoid discoloring babies, unerupted teeth, etc. There's a lot more about this. It's good that they're finally looking up for the kids. It'd be nice if they did it when it came to the airport and the TSA. All right, this just in. Commerce Secretary resigns for health reasons. This is the guy that had the car accident, a couple of them. They said he had a seizure or some sort of an incident that took place, which is why a seizure, right? which is why these occurred, and that he is now, Obama has accepted his resignation according to a statement. Last night I accepted the resignation of John Bryson as Secretary of the Department of Commerce. I want to extend my deepest thanks and appreciation to John for his service over the past months, and to wish him and his family the very best. All right, there you go. So that follows up there. All right, these here are some pictures. I want you to see that, because there's a lot of crazy stuff goes on in the world. We know about that. But what about the good stuff? Well, these are pictures of things that could give some hope. This is, first one's a picture of Chicago Christians at a gay pride parade apologizing for homophobia in the church. Big step, that's good. And then the crowd comes and reacts, and there you go. All right, now we got, this is the story of the elderly folks in Japan who went in to the power station knowing that they were going to be subjected to the radiation, and they went ahead and did that to protect the young people. All right, this is a couple of Norwegian guys rescuing a sheep from the ocean. Look at that. Go down here, sheep looks happy. Sign at a bookshop. During business hours, the books on the porch are 50 cents each, or 5 for $2. When the stores close, feel free to borrow them or keep them and pay me later. Anytime. If you don't have money to buy the books and need to want to read, help yourself. Donations are accepted. Okay. Alright. Apparently this is an interest one of what Snooki should name her kid. Alright, here's an Ohio athlete stopped and went back and helped an injured competitor. You're going to exchange between a 3-year-old girl in a shopping center. Dear Sainsbury's, why is tiger bread? CLI tiger bread. Okay. Alright, and then they responded back. There's so much for your letter. Thank you for the tiger giraffe bread. It is a brilliant idea. It looks much more like the blotches in the giraffe stripes than a tiger, doesn't it? Alright. And the elderly lady writes to a young man, reminded of her son, gave him a $20 tip. Subway, free meals for the homeless. Got a guy rescuing some cats here in India. If you're unemployed and need an outfit clean for an interview, we will clean it for free. Some man giving shoes to a homeless girl. I mean, look at this. These are all good signs of good things, because the world is filled with good people that do good things. We just hear about all the jackasses that are out there in the administration that are doing the bad things, and then the ones in the media that lie about what's going on. But these are the things that are important, you know, people helping each other. It's very important that people help each other out, and that's what's going on here, and that's what all of these pictures are. People helping people. So there's a whole list. Keep going down. You're going to find a bunch more, alright? Very good. So, that brings us to, bring this down here, that brings us to our next bit of information. We're almost done here. This is it's called the reality check. This is Ben Swan. This is an interview with Wallace Blackout. There's actually 6 parts to it. I'm going to play the first part for you here. Enjoy. After this, we're going to go into our meditation. Here we go.
This program is dedicated to exploring the many realities of our universe and the world that we live in. The knowledges, the wisdom, the scientific and spiritual understandings of those who are pushing the edge of human awareness. Shamans and theologians from many traditions, scientists elders, healers and the healed, authors, poets, and artists, and ordinary people who have come to extraordinary awarenesses. It wasn't very long ago when the world was convinced that this chair I'm sitting in was solid. We know now that it is not solid. It is an ever-floating raft of molecules, constantly in movement, atomic and subatomic particles. Our reality is, at this moment in time, that this is solid. Those molecules have been arranged to look like a chair in this reality. The true nature of things is, however, it is not solid. If we had daylight 24 hours and never saw the stars, our reality would not include stars. But that is not the true nature of things. How we perceive the world and the reality that we're in at the moment is the basis for our belief systems, our choices, everything from personal action to the way governments are organized. Albert Einstein is credited with saying you cannot solve a problem in the same consciousness in which it was created. What is the true nature of things? And how do we integrate that into our social being and our understandings? This is what our program is all about. Today we are honored to have with us Wallace Black Elk. He is a Lakota elder, and his reality includes many things that our world and our belief systems have not yet incorporated, nor have our choices. Wallace knew from a very early age, he knew his purpose, he knew why he was here and where he was going. And fortunate for us, as a spiritual interpreter, he has come from his home in the Black Hills to share the Lakota way and his understandings of other realities. Wallace, welcome.
Mitakuyasi, to all my relations, and I thank you to each and everyone here in the television world. And it's about time we all come to focus our mind universally, because I speak from the universe of minds. We call them animals, for no one is equal to the power of the Creator or the power of the Holy Mother. So beneath His sacred hands, His creation, we are able to communicate to the animals. And these animals are assigned to the four cardinals of the universe. So we are able to still communicate through this animal to the Creator and our Holy Mother. Oh, now, wisdom, if you look up, you see a huge blue sky. They call it sky, but we call it grandfather wears a huge, immense blue robe, and he wears 9 crowns of stars. So those people were here to assist, help us, because that power that was given to us, we mess it up. So wisdom encompasses the knowledge, and the knowledge is a woman. She is the temple of God who gave birth and life to all living. Like Genesis wrote, God created heaven and earth and everything. Well, there's some were not accurately interpreted and translated. So wisdom, knowledge, and power means, we talk about nucleus, we call it spirit. So the spirit continues to live on. We call it fire generation. And the gift is a talent and love, the way we're formed, shaped. So my people say this: the spirit, the great mystery, look at me very carefully, for my hand is sacred. I am a spirit, I'm sacred. So my hand are winged people, four-legged people. The creepers are people, the mammals, the crawlers, and the fish people, and finally the tail end, the image of God, the two-legged. So this is the way it was from a very beginning. Well, what man messed up was he was given a little bitty, teensy witty of wisdom and knowledge and power and gift. Well, man wants to be godlike, and he got this funny idea, and he wants to create something that God didn't create. So, so Tukashla came back, the Holy Mother, they came back to see him. And the man said, "Who are you?" Knowing and willingly denied him, because he wants to use that power to be God, to be above the Creator. So for that, man was told that he is given that power. You could live here as long as you want to, or you could live here forever. That is called freedom. So we could live here forever, while we mess it up. So having a doubt against the Creator, so the Creator, what I mean by man messing up is he looks around and he knows that he couldn't create nothing. So he looks around and abuses their power. Let there be mountains. So the whole world shook and crashed here and crunch here, and like a fian, like a snow was blown here, cold air, hot air blown here, and mud was flying this way and that way, and water was gushing this way and that way, hot air and ashes blowing and lava spewing out. So all creatures they call, they start to run away from the two-legged. So it was the four-legged. People looked back and they saw this man standing there, and he lost his rope.
All right, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. That was Wallace Black Elk. All right, so let's get into our meditation for today. Close things out. Go ahead and close your eyes, relax. All right. I would like you for the course of this meditation, I don't know if you're able to. Alright, that's not gonna, sorry about that. I'd like you to imagine that you are walking down a path, and as you walk down this path, all your chakras are activated. So go ahead and activate your chakras. Make sure that they are being turned on to accept the energy that is going on inside and out. Alright, start with the bottom of the spine. Red is the chakra Go ahead and raise the energy up from the lower chakra to the chakra above it. And the color of that chakra is orange. So you go from the red chakra at the bottom to the chakra above it, orange. Raise the energy up to the chakra above it, yellow, just below the rib cage. And then up to the heart chakra, green. From the green heart chakra, send the energy up to the chakra above it, which is the throat. Imagine the color blue. From the throat chakra, send the energy up to the third eye, right between the two eyebrows. Imagine the color violet. And finally to the crown chakra. Imagine the color indigo as the light continues on into the cosmos as bright white. Now just feel the energy as it flows in and out between your chakras. Feel the energy as it flows through your body. And let's just think a good thought for everyone in the world for today. Let's think thoughts of love and positivity. And with that, we'll bring our energy and tension back to the present moment, keeping that thought of love and positivity out in the world. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Alright, there you have it. That is the end of our show, our prayer and meditation. A few challenges today. Sorry about that. I'm going to try to get these things worked out over the course of the weekend. As I said, I'm here in Roswell. I'm kind of doing double, triple duty. UFOetry is doing a performance tonight at 7:30 at the zoo with the opening ceremony for the Cosmic Con, and then we'll be tomorrow and Sunday performing, I believe, in the afternoon. And in between that, I'm going to be doing interviews. There's a number of individuals here you're going to want to hear from, so I'm going to be doing some interviews, bringing those to you. And there you have it. That's it. That's our show, our prayer and meditation. Thanks for being here. I'll be back soon with more news and information. Stay tuned. Peace. I'm out of here.